Hey, thank you so much for clicking on this video. My name's Olivia and I'm a gender affirming voice teacher. And in this video, I'm going to talk about some ways to help you change your thinking to help you get where you want to be with your voice. If you are just getting started on your vocal feminization journey, you know how exciting it can be. But you probably also are realizing how many things are involved in voice work and that it does take a lot of focused practice and effort and energy to get where you want to be. So to get to a voice that really truly feels aligned and authentic to you, you might have these times where you feel frustrated or feel like you're at a plateau or feel like you're not moving forward in the way that you want to. So if you're feeling that way, you are not alone. It's super normal to feel these feelings of being stuck, or am I really getting somewhere? Do I feel like I'm actually changing my voice? All those thoughts are really, really normal. So in this video, I'm going to talk about 3 reasons why you might not be getting to the voice that you want. We're going to talk about some ways to kind of shift your thinking so that you can make sure that you're in the best mindset to continue your progress. So let's get started. The first reason why you might not be getting to your goals is if you're too focused on the end result. Of course, you want to think about where you're going and your goals and all of those things. That's definitely a positive thing. But sometimes when you're overly focused on like, okay, I have to have this specific voice or it's got to be within this time frame and why isn't it exactly what I want it to sound like right now, that can actually impede your progress. So at the start and throughout this process, it's really important to think about this work as exploratory, as a way to kind of celebrate and get in touch with your voice and gaining this new level of control over how you present your voice to the world. So when you're overly focused on this perfect feminine voice, you're going to miss out on some of the little victories, the little changes, the little shifts in your voice that happen every day through your practice. So it's important to celebrate these small victories. So whatever that means for you, maybe it's kind of being more aware when your pitch is higher versus lower. Maybe it's more of an awareness of what forward resonance feels like. Whatever it is for you, it doesn't have to be the perfect sound in order for you to celebrate that win. Remember to think big picture, that every step you take, every practice, every day is one step toward your goal. And without those smaller steps, with all those smaller goals, you're not just going to step across the finish line the next day. You have to take all those steps in order to get where you're going. So by changing this thought pattern, you can change this level of frustration into actually motivation to think like, okay, I might not be exactly where I want to be, but I hear that there's a little shift there. So that's going to help me keep going. Reason number 2 that you're not getting the results you want is that you may not be aware of tension in your body. So tension that you feel in your body, that gets built up in your body, it can be a byproduct of the way you're thinking about this process. So if you are sort of overly focused on this perfection piece, that can show up in your body. It can show up in your shoulders and in your neck, and maybe when you're changing the shape of your vocal tract, it can add tension with your tongue and your jaw. So it's really important to become aware when that tension creeps in. So here again, we're not looking for absolute perfection and never any tension anywhere. That's not possible really for anyone, right? But to be aware of when that tension creeps in is really important, because it's going to help you loosen that up and be more free, and that's going to move the needle forward. That's going to help you to actually make more progress. When you're more tense in your tongue or your jaw or your shoulders, you're going to be working against yourself, which means you're going to have to be working extra hard. And what we want is to not have to work against anything. We want to work with ourselves, right? We want to help ourselves out. So the more you can become aware of tension, of loosening things up. So whether that's doing a full body stretch, whether that's doing some tongue stretches, whether that's, some jaw massage, wherever you kind of hold your tension, to be aware of that. So that could mean becoming aware of that all throughout the day when you're standing doing the dishes or going for a walk or at work. Do I feel that I'm clenching my jaw? And can I give myself a little massage here to relieve that tension? So really focus on that body awareness. So meditation, I always recommend doing a body scan meditation to get in touch with your body. This is really helpful. And you can just look stuff up on YouTube. I have one up there that you could follow along with, but any body scan meditation is great. And then throughout your practice, you can regularly check in with yourself and notice, do I feel tense here? Do I feel tense here? Let me take a minute to relax and then keep going. Reason number 3 that you might not be seeing the results that you want is that you might not be making the most out of your practice sessions. So that can look different for different people. So that might be that you're not getting enough practice in. It might be that you're over practicing. It might be that you are practicing the wrong things. So if you're having a hard time actually sitting down and doing practice, I would encourage you to spread it out during the day into smaller increments. So I would say, put it on your calendar for 5 minutes, 3 times a day. So in the morning, at lunchtime, and then at night, or write a little sticky note to yourself, a little post-it note to yourself, and stick it on your computer with a couple of things to practice. And that every once in a while, when you notice that, you do a little bit of practice. So you have to figure out what works for you and what works for your schedule. So if peppering those in throughout the day works, that's great. If doing, a 15-minute practice at a certain time of day works, that's great too. But it's important to figure out that balance because it's not an easy thing. We all have busy lives. You might be running around with kids. You might be busy at work. Or, you might have some kind of avoidance with it. It might be something where you're struggling to make sure you get it done because it's really important to you. And so it feels like there's a lot of pressure around it. So there's many different reasons why this could be happening, but kind of figure out what works for you. Now, if you're over practicing, if you're practicing 3 hours a day of dedicated practice, you can tire your voice out. So our voice is a muscle just like anything else in the body, and we want to make sure that we're taking care of it as best as we can. So make sure that you're not practicing too much, maybe even burning yourself out, to the point, not only just physically, but mentally, like, you don't have enough room in your life for anything else. So making sure that you have balance, both for the physical aspect and also mentally for yourself as well. So lastly, you might be practicing the wrong things or the things that are less beneficial for you. For instance, you might be practicing the stuff that you're pretty comfortable with already. That's a common thing, right? Okay, well, I'm good at this thing, this part of practice, so I'm just going to focus on that. And the thing that's harder for me, I'm going to kind of like put that off to the side. That could be happening. You could be avoiding putting yourself out of your comfort zone. So a lot of times, if you're working on sentences, you feel comfortable there, but you aren't putting yourself out of your comfort zone and taking your new voice for a spin out in conversation. So maybe making a date with a friend to have a 5-minute phone call, or going and ordering yourself a coffee at the drive-thru, forcing yourself to kind of go out of your comfort zone and practice conversationally is also going to be really beneficial. So finding out what parts of my practice are kind of lacking and how can I switch that so I make sure that it's a little bit more of a well-rounded approach. So make sure that you are celebrating small wins in your practice. Remember, this is a marathon. It is not a sprint. Vocal feminization takes time and practice, and it's simply not going to happen overnight. So remember that every single step you take is a step towards your goal. And there might be weeks where you feel like, well, I don't even really see progress here from this week to this week. But if you go back a few weeks, you can hear that difference. So give yourself some grace with that and just keep taking the next step. Just keep chugging along and you will definitely get there if you just take it step by step. Remember that your body is your instrument. So not just your vocal cords here, that your whole body is a part of this process. So it's really important to be in touch with how much stress or tension that you have in your body and really be aware of when that's something that you can release. And also take some time to figure out, am I practicing too little? Am I practicing too much? Am I practicing some of the same things over and over again? How can I tweak my practice sessions to make sure that I'm getting what I need? So that just takes some self-reflection and again, to think big picture. What's going to help me just take a small step every day rather than trying to take a huge leap or doing nothing at all? If you're feeling stuck or feeling like you'd like some guidance or more of a focused program, I have a link down in the description where you can click and sign up for a consultation with me. I'm also going to be putting out a self-study e-course in the fall. If that's something that you're interested in, please click the link in the description to sign up for the waitlist. Thank you so much for watching. Hope this video was helpful for you, and I will look forward to seeing you in the next video.